Weekly Outdoor Plus is a new and exciting outdoor show right here on Fox 55 WFXS. Presented by Bucks and Bulls Archery in Stevens Point. Starring new owner Gary Hintz. His youngest son, the show pro, Jase Hintz. And the show producer, creator, and host, his oldest son, Seth Hintz. So now sit back and relax and get ready to learn about archery and the world of the outdoors.
Hey guys, welcome to Weekly Outdoor Plus. Jase Hintz here with you. I got a good announcement for everybody, all of our fan base. We're going to actually be combining with another team. We're going to have Marc Gruber here, who is with me, along with his brother Mike Gruber and his girlfriend Jordan. I think this is going to be a lot of fun for everybody, really, because you're going to be able to get two different ideas of styles of shooting, you know, different opinions on how things work. Marc here has been shooting with him for 7 to 8 years, and in the recent probably 2 years, he's became an NFA professional archer, and that obviously will help everybody get different ideas on, again, how his opinion to shooting compared to mine, compared to hunting ideas. And then again, his brother and his brother's girlfriend are huge into hunting. We'll have a lot more fun hunts going on, and a lot more different styles of hunting, different states, a lot more fun going on. And I'd like to have Marc tell us a little bit about the last 2 years of success and how it made you become the archer you are today, and how you grew upon that.
Well, I mean, obviously we've been shooting with Jase for a long time, and we would always go to shoots on weekends and stuff like that, and ended up just going to a couple tournaments and doing really well at them. I actually won the Vegas event in 2012, and then had a good week after that and won another tournament, and ended up getting ripped on from other pros that I'm still an amateur, and after that point ended up turning pro. And I mean, I guess it's just been a grind from there, because I mean, it's very hard competition, and but it's just fun to compete with the best, and I guess that's
where it all came about. Yeah, that's definitely something to be proud of, and something definitely that he has to work on. Obviously, there's a lot of different styles of shooting, I'm sure, that you've done compared to when you were amateur to pro, and you learn a lot along the way. And what's for example, I always talk about what I would say, the most important part of, your shooting style is and everything, and Marc doesn't even probably know what I would say. So I'd like to just, I guess, one quick question, what would you, if you had to pick one thing out of shooting in general, whether it's form-wise, mental stage, what would you say the most important thing, if you had to tell someone today that's, a struggling archer that would just like to better themselves, what is one thing you would say, focus on this, it'll make you more consistent in general in your shot?
Well, definitely with like tournament archery, the mental game is definitely the biggest part, because everybody can do it in practice, and it doesn't matter what you do in practice if you can't do it in a tournament, and that's just the main thing.
Okay.
But I mean, for a hunter in general, I would just say just practice, because I mean, when you're under pressure and you say that big buck, you're going to go to whatever's comfortable to you, and if you're doing the right thing in practice, you're going to do the right thing when it comes down to it, and I mean, it's just going to help you out a ton.
Definitely mental
being
game.
Comfortable.
And we've talked about mental game a little bit in and out, but obviously having him here as well, being in a lot more tight situations as well, obviously will help us out in getting different ideas and different, I told you guys kind of how I go along the talking to myself type idea even, and, practicing so you are confident in your next shot being the one shot that you need. And, I'm sure we'll go over a lot of stuff in the upcoming episodes. Pretty excited to see what we have to bring for you. And yeah, definitely I hope you guys stay tuned and see a little bit more of the action that we have coming for you.
Inside you, there's an outside you. A you that finds your dinner by finding your dinner's dinner. A you that isn't afraid to pick a fight with something that has a sword for a nose. This is for that you.
Hi, TJ Klein from Frank's Hardware. From spring to fall, we have it all. keeping everything green to working in the garden, Frank's Hardware has everything you need, including seed, to keep your garden looking right. And don't forget about your deck. Now is a great time to do maintenance on your deck and outside, so you can enjoy the rest of your summer.
Looking for a fun, state-of-the-art facility to shoot your bow this winter? Blackhawk Archers in Polonia, Wisconsin wants you to join their club. Located just 15 minutes east of Stevens Point on County Road Z, Blackhawk Archers has a heated indoor range for both 3D and spot target shooters. Leagues will be forming soon, and they also will have open shoots for the public this winter. Check out blackhawkarchers.net to stay up to date and for more information. Or stop into Bucks and Bulls Archery in Stevens Point for membership forms. We'll see you there. Bucks and Bulls Archery in Stevens Point is now under new ownership and has a new location. Stop down to 3272 Church Street and meet the new owner, Gary Hintz. His fully stocked pro shop carries Matthews, Hoyt, and many more products to serve all your needs. They also do all repairs for any style and full customizations. Leagues and lessons will begin soon, so stop in today and check out what's new, because we're confident that we can get you from in here to out there. Bucks and Bulls Archery, Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
This mineral is a game changer. I've put the odds in my favor. It's time to close the deal. I wouldn't change a thing. Finally, the buck of a lifetime. Real Deal Mineral. The results speak for themselves.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's lesson segment on Weekly Outdoor Plus. Jase Hintz here with you again as always, and this week we're going to go over basically the importance of your sling, why people use them, and a little recap over the grip so you can understand the exact science behind why you do have this on here. The idea is when you're shooting your bow, obviously, you don't want to squeeze your grip. You want to make sure you have it like we talked a lot before on this side of your lifeline. You have it on the palm of your hand, and again, you're just relaxing your fingers, not having them squeeze your bow. You're not torquing your bow in any direction, because that's like one of the biggest flaws you can have by far is how you squeeze your bow, how you can torque it with your different finger pressures. And again, when you anticipate your shot like a lot of people do, you're going to grab your bow and everything, where if you're doing these kind of things, it's obviously not good, and having a sling is like a backup plan, so you don't worry about holding onto your bow. You can let it just naturally let the force hold it against your palm, and when it's doing this, you'll have your sling on, which is reminding you that, hey, I'm not going to drop it, because even if I do let go of it, I still got my sling on and I'll be able to catch it. I'm not going to have to worry about it falling out of my tree stand or dropping it on the concrete or wherever I'm shooting. So again, when you get a sling, one big key to it is you don't want to have it really tight, because again, you're going to start throwing more torque into it. You can see there's a nice little bit of loop on here. You'd want it just to lay on there. You don't want it to be tight and holding up against you, because again, like I said, you're going to have more bottom torque on it, then you're going to be pulling harder and you're going to be pulling down on your bow because it's obviously located below your hand. So again, get your good grip like we talked about several weeks now. Get your sling on, make sure that you have it nice and loose. I mean, you don't have to go out there and buy a $900 sling, you know, you can just get a nice simple, I mean, we have a lot of homemade ones here, really cool. We got a lot of different ideas where this one's here simple to adjust. Little Allen wrench, you slide it in and out, tighten it down, little set screw, very simple. So these are the things, you know, you can transfer from bow to bow if you need to, it's not a big deal, but make sure you have one on there so you have, it's just a mental idea knowing when I shoot, I'm not going to be dropping my bow. And again, it is a safety feature. It's like putting a seatbelt on in your car, so you're not going to end up hurting your bow, basically, is what it would come down to. So think about it. If you don't have one, I definitely recommend trying one, or, you know, come on, try it out on your bow, see if you actually do like it. And again, make sure you got that perfect grip we talked about, and this will definitely help you more mentally sound and not be worried about it. So if you guys got any questions, call Bucks and Bulls. You can check this back out on YouTube. Otherwise, hopefully I'll see you guys next week.
Hi, my name is Dave from Dave's Body Shop, 825 Park Street. Gary Hintz is a friend of mine, and I'd like to help him out, donate 2 bicycles, 2 little bikes, 2 bigger bikes, and Gary's going to fill you in how you can get them free of charge.
Yeah, we're going to have a kids program at the shop. Dave's donated the bikes. I'm going to donate to archery time, and we're going to just have a program where they build up points and they have a chance to win a bike.
Stop in at Dave's Body Shops or Bucks and Bulls to see how you can win these bikes free.
All right, now it's time for one of our more exciting segments here on Weekly Outdoor Plus. It's where we get to keep our fans connected with the show. Don't forget, you can send in your pictures to weeklyoutdoorplus@live.com or link them up to us on Facebook to get in this segment of our show each week, as Sopa Cellular makes it extremely easy for you to capture these photos and then send and share them around effortlessly. Our first picture this week is of a sunrise over a northern Wisconsin lake. Next we have a double rainbow after a nasty thunderstorm. And here's one from Kennedy shooting for her first time at Bucks and Bulls Archery. Next we have Molly Riker doing some competitive shooting last weekend. And here's one from Mitchell Riker practicing his longbow skills outside. Next we have this beautiful northern Wisconsin sunset right as a storm is rolling in. And here's one from Greg, who arrowed this buck practicing at 100 yards outside. And our last one this week is of Baby Easton with his first and last cooler he will ever need, a Yeti. So stop on down to Sopa Cellular today and check out all their great deals, and stay tuned for more weekly Outdoor Plus action.
Hey guys, Jase and Marc here with you again. And as I told you earlier at the beginning of the show, we were going to talk about, different opinions on different styles of shooting, different types of shooting. And just to give you guys a little example of different opinions and stuff and things that I've talked about quite a bit is different releases. And I'd like to talk to Marc a little bit about his opinions on stuff like that, because you've mostly heard mine. And this way you can find out, what you agree with and what you don't agree with, and different ideas of how to become, whatever you want to go, however tight you want to shoot your groups, however big a buck you want to kill, how confident you want to be. So I know the difference. We got index fingers, we got thumb triggers, and we got back tension releases, all the way down from, level of difficulty learning to level of success in shooting. What would you say the biggest difference between all of them would be from stage to stage?
Well, there's definitely different styles of back tension. You have the relaxed form, which is mainly done with a hinge, but it can be done with a trigger style, or you just have the movement in your back. And everybody kind of has their own different way to do it, but with those two general styles, I guess, is what it comes down to. And then me personally, I practice a lot with a hinge, and mainly just because I feel like my form is over exaggerated with a hinge compared to a trigger. And when you get into a tournament or a high pressure situation, you always tend to seize up in your back. And when I'm practicing with my hinge, and say that over exaggeration really gets me ready for a tournament situation where I'm not using, not using the proper muscles in your back or anything, because you do get nervous, and when you start shaking, it's definitely not like it is at the practice range. And it really helps you. Well, helps me personally when I practice with a hinge, and then a week before, I'll go back to my trigger and then just get back into the groove and what I'm going to do at the tournament.
All right, so basically you're saying when you're shooting, obviously you're going to have different pressures that you'll be shooting with. In tournaments, when you're nervous, obviously you might be a little not as aggressive with your release, so it'd be a lot easier with a thumb trigger to adjust how you're getting your shot timing off.
Yep.
And so if you had to tell someone fresh out of the gates, or just a hunter that's always used an index trigger, what would you recommend for them to try to better themselves? Would you say hinge or thumb trigger, or a little pull with a little pressure action?
It would come down to just a tension release, one that just as you pull goes off, or else you could use a hinge too. And I would definitely recommend setting it really heavy, just so you start using the right muscles. But then, you definitely need a coach that will watch you and get you started, so you're not learning how to do it the wrong way right off the bat.
Somebody
because
can tell you if you're cheating it or whatever.
Yep.
Definitely.
Because if you start cheating it right off the bat, that's what you're going to be comfortable with, and you're going to go back to all the time. And when you're just practicing, you got to do it the right way, because otherwise you're wasting your time. You go out and shoot 300 arrows a day, if you're shooting it the wrong way, it's not going to help you at all. You can go out and just shoot 60 arrows the right way, and you'll benefit a lot more from it.
Definitely so. All right, so if you had to What release do you shoot the most consistently then, if just for fans out there, people that are into trying what they believe is the best?
Well, like what I said before, I shoot a trigger or during style release during tournaments, and that's just because that's what I have shot for 6 years, and that's what I'm comfortable with. And like I said before, when you get in pressure, you don't want to be thinking about anything else other than that shot, and I mean that just helps you out. Just astronomically.
Like riding a bike, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. The more you use the same consistent setup, you're going to get better at it. A lot of people think they need to spend a lot of money and they got to get new releases every single year, new bows every single year. The more you use the exact same one, it's going to make you a lot better in the long run. I mean, why would you switch in the middle of a tournament or middle of a 1 year even? I mean, give it time, get used to what you actually have too, or try something new, but don't try it for a week and say my scores went down, because remember when you first started learning back tension, how'd it go?
Didn't go well. I mean, every once in a while, I have punched myself in the face multiple times
yeah.
from it.
Misfires and whatnot.
And you can't just get discouraged from it. If you're going to stick with it, stick with it. And right now is the time to get started, because we have probably about 97 days or something like that?
Yeah, roughly.
Something like that, 97 days till hunting season, and
get that first big buck opportunity,
and so you got plenty of time to get ready for it, and all you got to do is learn it, and you can transfer that knowledge from the back tension into a finger trigger like that most people hunt with, and you can shoot that the right way, and it'll help you get rid of target panic, or just punching the trigger in general.
Yeah, once you learn how to shoot with that back tension, it doesn't matter what release you're shooting. You're going to shoot it better, because you know the true concept of I'm not squeezing a trigger, I'm not using it as an index finger, I'm not using it as a thumb trigger. You're using it as a back tension release, you're using it as you should be shooting it, and that's going to get you a lot farther, obviously. So I'd like to thank Mark for obviously joining the team and everything, and his brother Mike and his girlfriend Jordan. It's going to be a pretty fun year for us.
And now time for a bonus lesson from the past from Jase on using the different releases he and Mark were just discussing.
Again, and I'm going to be going over different styles of releases and how they're going to be more beneficial for you depending on what you're doing with them. And I'll go a little bit into detail on like how to shoot them, but within the next couple of weeks here we'll be talking about back tension more, and more in depth on how they are going to be more, why they are better for you, I guess, and how to shoot them correctly. So the first one that we're going to go over is going to be your basic index finger trigger release. Most people are going to be using this style of release for hunting, a techno hunt if you're going to be shooting in the techno hunt leagues, or just for fun. For practicing and just learning, this is not a bad way to start, just to see if you're interested. It's pretty much the least accurate way to shoot, least consistent, because of how much control you have over your index finger. The way most people learn how to shoot this is just by simply putting it on your loop and pulling back and squeezing the trigger slowly till it shoots. That's one way that you can do it, definitely. All of these releases that I go over should be shot with back tension, and if you know the proper way of doing it, you can do it with any release. It's just really hard to learn on this because you have to have a lot of self-control on not squeezing the trigger and not moving your finger. But we'll get more in depth on the back tension in the upcoming weeks. So again, just your basic index finger trigger release. Very good for hunting, very good for when you need to sometimes force shots or get shots off sooner or have more control over them. Definitely an option, but I would not recommend this style of release for tournaments or that kind of deal, or for improving or getting better by yourself. The next one I got is a thumb trigger. This is one that this is a Carter, but it's thumb trigger is basically the same concept, but the trigger is going to be your thumb here. All you got to do is squeeze the trigger and it'll shoot. But these are a lot easier as well to shoot with back tension. And when I'm talking about shooting with back tension, I'm saying you're not using your trigger actually. What you do is you hook it on your string, you pull back, put your thumb on the trigger, and you'd lock your finger there so it won't shoot. Once you have your finger locked on it, you can just pull nice and slow your back muscles together, and eventually it'll shoot all on its own without you actually moving the trigger. That's the key, is you don't want to know when it's going to release. You want it to be a surprise. If you know when it is, you're going to anticipate your shot. You're going to flinch. You're going to be moving. You're not simple. Nobody's brain is simply fast enough to see that their pin is on the target and then tell themselves to also squeeze the trigger, because you can't do two things at once in your brain. There's just no possible way, and it's a long ways for the information to travel between your eyes to your brain to your thumb, the whole 9 yards. So learn how to shoot this with back tension, and this is actually what I shoot for competition. This is what I shoot for everything. Even hunting. I won't shoot it for techno hunt, but I'll shoot it for anything besides that, basically, which, you know, I just don't want to cheat it, so I make sure that I always use it for shooting spots, shooting 3D, shooting things I have control over my shot when it goes off. So this is one thing that, on your opinion, you know, could work. Again, harder to learn with, but it can be done. A little bit easier, at least, compared to the index finger. The true way to learn it is going to be basically this here, is called the hinge release. It's called the hinge release because it's got a hinge simply right there at the head, and it's got you can either have it with a clicker or without a clicker. The difference is when you cock the release and you pull back, you just rotate it so the hinge is rotating, and some of them will have a click like this one does. It just clicked, and then all you do is you stop, you freeze your fingers where it is, and you slowly keep pulling until it shoots. Again, this is a way to learn back tension. I mean, a lot of people are scared of it, which you should not be scared of it, because it's just as safe as all these. If you learn how to shoot it correctly, it's extremely easy to use, actually. But this is one, again, that I highly recommend to learn on, especially if you're young or just starting. Learn the right way. It's really hard to break old habits. Ask anybody you know about any bad habit they have. It's very hard to kick it until you learn the right way. So start good, you're gonna end good. It's gonna be a lot more fun and a lot more enjoyable. These, again, we'll be going a lot more in depth on these in the next upcoming episodes. This is how you basically learn how to shoot back tension. There's one other style of release. It's basically a pressure sensitive, which is the same concept of this, is where you're gonna pull back, and instead of going to a hinge, all you would do is push the trigger all the way down or let off the trigger, depending what style it is, and then it's all pressure. So if you're holding 16 pounds of bolt pressure, you're going to be, you know, set it for 18, and you just got to pull harder, and once you get the 2 extra pounds, it'll shoot on its own. So it's another style. It all depends how consistent, I guess, you are with your back wall and how solid your back wall and your bow is. I have personally a hard time shooting those just because I'm not always set up in the exact same spot, kind of like to keep myself guessing. So that's where this is a lot easier for me to get to shoot. Just different styles, you know, you got to go through it. You can get a 3-finger, you can get a 4-finger, you can get a 2-finger if you want to. But there's a lot of different options, a lot of different things out there. And if you're interested in trying any of these out, or you'd just like to, you know, learn a little bit more about them, either watching the upcoming episodes, we'll be talking about back tension, talking about different styles of releases even more, or stop in here. We have a bunch of them, you know, whether it's my release sitting in the back, or my dad's release, or Dan or James, anyone that works here. We all have our own different releases. None of us shoot the same one. So, I mean, obviously none of them are better than the other ones. They're all the same different deal. So if you want to check them out and come on in, feel free. I mean, we're more than welcome to share our stuff and try it out and see if you like it or not before you know, spend any money on it. You might as well make sure you're going to like it.
Stay tuned, because coming up next, we get out in the field and see what Mike's plans are for this year's food plot.
Real deal mineral. The results speak for themselves.
Hi, TJ Klein from Frank's Hardware. From spring to fall, we have it all. From keeping everything green to working in the garden, Frank's Hardware has everything you need, including seed, to keep your garden looking right. And don't forget about your deck. Now is a great time to do maintenance on your deck and outside, so you can enjoy the rest of your summer.
Bucks and Bulls Archery in Stevens Point is now under new ownership and has a new location. Stop down to 3272 Church Street and meet the new owner, Gary Hintz. His fully stocked pro shop carries Matthews, Hoyt, and many more products to serve all your needs. They also do all repairs for any style and full customizations. Leagues and lessons will begin soon, so stop in today and check out what's new, because we're confident that we can get you from in here to out there. Bucks and Bulls Archery, Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Looking for a fun, state-of-the-art facility to shoot your bow this winter? Blackhawk Archers in Polonia, Wisconsin wants you to join their club. Located just 15 minutes east of Stevens Point on County Road Z, Blackhawk Archers has a heated indoor range for both 3D and spot target shooters. Leagues will be forming soon, and they also will have open shoots for the public this winter. Check out blackhawkarchers.net to stay up to date and for more information. Or stop into Bucks and Bulls Archery in Stevens Point for membership forms. We'll see you there.
Inside you, there's an outside you. A you that takes the road less traveled than the road less traveled, and finds the comforts of home extremely uncomfortable. This is for that you.
All right, it's the middle of June. As you can see, we got our food plot disced up, fertilized, ready to plant. So what the plan is for this year, what we're trying to do is plant something that the deer are going to be able to eat all year. So down this middle part, what we're going to do is plant a clover mix. Once that comes up, when we get into August, what we're going to do then is plant these outside edges and probably the back end in a brassica rape mix. That stuff's a lot better for later in the season, so that way there's always going to be something out here green that the deer are going to be coming to. So hopefully we get rain tomorrow after we get this seed in, and within a couple days, a week and a half or so, be coming up and deer be out here hitting it. We can check the cameras on them.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of Weekly Outdoor Plus presented by Bucks and Bulls Archery in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Don't forget to check us out online at facebook.com/weeklyoutdoorplus. See you next week.